right now. Okay. Okay, so these are your notes, worksheet review of area. Is that what you guys have, first page? Or does it say notes on there? Notes this one? Perfect. Area of a rectangle, area equals length times width. And most of you are going to start by writing the formula A equals L times W. So it's a multiplication dot. It's not a period. It's not a decimal. Multiplication dots. Okay. So real quickly, showing your work, area equals LW. Area equals 24 times 11. Are those big numbers? Somewhat. But remember, you can break that down to 24 times 10 and 24 times 1, right? So all I did here, nothing fancy, I just broke 11 into 10 and 1. Right? So it's going to be 240 and 24. So what's the area? 264 centimeters squared. Okay. So I don't need a calculator for it. Could use a calculator. It's getting up there. Okay. Area of a square, well, it's length times width, but because it's a square, it's kind of side times side. So what do we usually say? Area equals side squared. Okay. And often you're just going to write the short form, area equals S squared. So you can start right there at area equals S squared. So a lot of you, you'll just start with that. This is an important formula. We're going to use that a lot. Okay. And of course, you do that with Pythagoras. Remember that good old stuff? So area equals 8 squared. Substitute in. And then solve 64. So in math, we often call this FSS. Formula, substitute, solve. So if you only say FSS, just some simple basics showing your work. Okay. Now some of the questions we're going to get to are a bit more complicated, and so you'll show your work slightly different. What about this? Interesting shape, isn't it? So what it is, it's a cutout. So there's two ways you can do that. You can find the area total of the big shape, and then you subtract the area of the cutout. Okay. Or you could find two small areas, area 1 and area 2, and then add them together. It's totally your choice how you're going to do that. I don't really care. Go ahead, find it. Okay, so if you're going to do the cutout shape, you have to do a subtraction to figure out the dimension. So you have to be careful with that. Okay. So the area of the entire shape is 9 meters by 5 meters, which is 45. And then you subtract the area of the cutout, which is 8. So how many square meters are there? 37? Okay. So that's method 1. Or what you could do is do area 1, which is 5 times 5, which is 25. And then area 2 which is, ooh, what is that one? I guess I need this other number on the side here as well, don't I? This here would be, what? Minus 2, which equals 3. So I'm just finding this line here. Okay. So area 2 would be 4 times 3, which would be 12. And then you'd add them up. Okay. And so you'd be 25 plus 12 equals 37 meters squared. Questions, comments, concerns? Any questions? How many people had teachers before that made them show all this work? Hands up. How many people had teachers before that let them do whatever they want? Oh, it's funny you don't put up your hand. Okay, going on. Triangles. Oh, what is this one? You guys know? It's on your formula sheet. Teason, what do you think? Yeah. Good. So area equals base times height divided by 2. Sometimes later on, though, this divide by 2 part is just like multiplying by a half. So it's 1/2 base of a height. Because a triangle is actually half of a square or rectangle. Okay? So that's really why the dividing by 2 part is just the half part. Okay. Just want to show you that. You don't have to use that formula. I know a lot of you aren't comfortable with it. Okay. So, good. Number A, here we go. Base times height divided by 2. Start with your formula. Substitute in. Now remember, your base and height join at what angle? Right? Right angle, 90 degrees. So you got to look for that little box. That'll tell you your base and your height. Okay? It doesn't matter which is which, as long as you're using the dimension that is correct. So 16 times 8.5 divided by 2. Okay. Now these numbers are getting a bit bigger, and we also have decimals. If you want, you can take out your calculator. Area is 68 centimeters squared. Double check on your calculator if you wish. Okay. Next one. How should I do B? Odd. Is that weird? Interesting. Print it out like that. Okay. Help, please. What's the easiest way to do it? Brody? Yep, just as easy as that, right? So area 1 plus area 2. You could use the cutout shape by making that a full rectangle. But you know what, for a question like this, I would. It's kind of waste your time, okay? So find area 1, add it to area 2. Go for it. We just use subscripts, just to show you the different areas. Now this one here, you can actually do this one in your head. Okay, so what we can actually do is this division here first. Instead of multiplying and then dividing, we can divide and then multiply. It won't change our answer. So a simpler way of doing this is simply going 12 divided by 2 is 6, and then multiply that by 7. So we get 42 as the answer. Okay. Or use your calculator. The little tricks like that are good to use. Okay. Remember, it's a triangle. That's all we have to do, divide by 2. Then you can add them up. Okay. So I think it's 210 centimeters squared. Okay. Good. Notice how you have to get an answer plus an answer. So following a little bit of bed math stuff, you have to use multiplying and dividing before you actually do the addition. So it's an answer plus an answer. Any questions? All right, C, go for it. Alicia, right? Just checking. Pardon? Honor. Hey, where's Michelle dancing at Emily? Where'd she go to? Yeah, because my daughter was at the other one, that's why.
Oh, she's going back to ballet.
Oh, just for ballet? And she's not doing any other dance then? Mm-hmm. Yeah, my daughter's not going to do ballet anymore. She just wants to do acro. Mm-hmm. Whatever. You know, if I get a wrong answer, you guys got to stop me, okay? Because I go fast and I often make mistakes. So just don't be afraid. Just say, Mr. Barker, isn't it this? Or whatever, okay? Just call out. So, yeah, don't hesitate to do that. 14 meters squared. Anyone else get that? Hands up? Okay, good. I didn't screw that one up. Perfect. Any questions? Turn it over. Now, parallelogram, I'm introducing it. We rarely use a parallelogram. It doesn't come up too often. Okay? But imagine we took this triangle right here. Okay, we cut it off and we moved it over there. What kind of shape would you have then? Exactly. Now, however, what we use here for a parallelogram, instead of length times width, we use base times height. And you know what? Some teachers even teach a rectangle base times height. So it's not a big deal having a different name, right? Okay, so base times height, go for it. Find your two areas. Okay. So which number are you not going to use? Ha ha ha. What little symbol are you looking for?
Right angle.
Yeah, this one right here, you need the 90-degree symbol. So 10 and 6 are what you're going to use. 8, you're not going to use 8. Okay, that's a number I gave you just to mess you up. So keep in mind what's the base and the height. Okay, 10 times 6. 60 centimeters squared. Okay. I have no idea why I'd give you such a weird number. 4.5 times 6.5. 29.25 meters squared. Okay. Any questions? Yep. Did I screw that one up?
No, you did it right.
Oh.
I was thinking about it.
Okay. Next one, area of a circle. I love circles. So we're going to do a lot of work with circles, especially in grade 10, but we use algebra, so we have to have exact answers. What did you use last year for pi? Thiessen? Pi? Sure. Anyone else? Yep. 3.14? Good. So if I press my pi button, have a look. It's a lot bigger than 3.14. In fact, we call that in grade 10 an irrational number because it goes forever and ever 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 and ever. It never stops, okay? So what we do is we actually get an exact answer. We use the symbol, the letter. So what we're going to do this year is you're not going to area equals pi r squared. What we're going to do is we're just going to figure out the value of what r squared is. Okay? And then we're going to write that in front of pi. So work with me here, folks. Area equals pi times 12 squared. Is that correct? No, no, no. Yeah, 6. So remember this one, the diameter equals the radius divided by 2, and the radius equals the diameter divided by, sorry, I screwed that one up. The diameter equals 2 times the radius, and the radius equals the diameter divided by 2. So half of the diameter. Okay. So area equals 6 squared. Right? 12 divided by 2 equals 6. So what's 6 squared? What's 6 times 6? So what we do is we just simply write this as 36 pi. Okay, so 6 squared equals 36. So then we write it as 36 times pi. We actually don't do the multiplication. Then we could do some more cool things with it later. Okay, by working backwards with algebra. That's going to be a lot later. But this is an exact answer. Okay? Although I don't want the rounded decimal. Of course, it's meters squared as your units. Okay? So we just call this 36 pi. And that it's not a spelling mistake. That's how you spell pi for that letter. So the next one, we have two shapes. We have area of 1 and area 2. Find the area for section 1. Go. Any issues you see, Alina? Yeah, exactly. 1.2 meters, 80 centimeters. Help.
Please excuse the interruption. This is the final call for any grade 12 students who might have missed earlier opportunities to request a course change. With your teacher's permission, please report to the Counseling Center now. That's the final call for grade 12 course change requests. Thank you.
Okay, so what should we do? Convert this one. It will be the easiest. Then we don't have to work with decimals. So convert that to 120 centimeters. Okay, so multiply it by 100. Okay. What about area 2? What is that? What kind of shape would you call it? Sorry? Semicircle, but what is a semicircle? Half a circle, right? So it's going to be a circle divided by 2. So area equals pi r squared divided by 2. Okay, so pi r squared divided by 2. What's the radius? 40 centimeters. Good. So pi 40 squared, all divided by 2. So don't divide by 2 until you square it first. What's 40 times 40? Well, what's 4 times 4? How many zeros should be on the end then? 2. Okay, 2 zeros. Times pi divided by 2. So all I did is I always want to put the number first and the letter second. Okay, it's typical for algebra. And then what's the total area? 800 times pi. Okay. 800 times pi. Now we got a bit of a problem, don't we? So area 1 is 9600 plus 800 pi. Now if I was extremely particular, sometimes I am, but right now I'm not. So what I actually want you to do is figure out what's the approximation? What's the approximate answer? Well, what do you think I really want then? I say, what's the approximate answer? I want the, starts with E, ends with decimal. Yeah. So now you actually have to go to your calculator, but you got to be smart though. You have to go 800 times pi equals
2,925.
plus 9600. So you got to make sure that you're actually multiplying first and then adding. Everyone should try this if you have the calculator out. 800 times pi equals then plus 9600. Okay. One, 2, 1, 1, 3 point. And what should we round it to? 1 decimal? We round to the nearest tenth. What's the nearest tenth? That's 1 decimal place. 3. Okay. So it's going to be a 2, 7, and then we want to round to that one. So 1, 2, 1, 1, 3.3 centimeters squared. Okay. So I covered a lot of things there. I covered some order of operations. Okay, you have to do multiplications first, then add. I covered units, right? Squaring them. Covered some simple formula use, how to show your work. Composite shapes. What does composite shapes mean? Yep. Yeah, multiple shapes together. Exactly. So rectangles and triangles, triangles and circles, whatever they are. Okay? Half circle, stuff like that. Any questions?